Good morning, everyone. Before we start our Samvaad session, let me take you on a journey. Happy morning, ma'am. How are you?
Very well.
Ma'am, the students of DPS Dwarka Expressway not only succeed so effortlessly, but also appear so happy. What's the secret?
Before every conversation, there has to be a journey. And what you see as a final product is also a journey. So rather than telling, I invite you to explore the school. Come back and tell me what you saw, because at our school, there is a philosophy behind each one of them. When you see children, there is a story behind every smile. And when you see innovation, believe me, there is intention behind all innovations. So, all the best today for making sure that you are showing just not high buildings, but belief, culture, and co-creation of an ecosystem.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Wow, what an interesting place. What is it all about?
So this is a sensory garden. It's a very special place where students can come and explore different textures. So we have these tiles, then there are these bamboo sticks. They all make you feel different. You can explore different textures, show your creativity and activate your senses. So while working on this, how do you feel?
Honestly, it kind of makes me feel ticklish.
So that's the fun of being in this place. Everyone takes with them something new, something fun every time they visit this place.
That's amazing. This is such a unique addition to the school. Ma'am, may I come in?
Please come in.
Wow, what are the children doing? Is this pottery?
Yes, they are doing a fun activity, pottery.
Wow, this looks so fun. But ma'am, I have a question.
All right.
How does pottery help increase a child's creativity and confidence?
It takes out their creative side, their expression. There is nothing right or wrong in pottery. They do fun activities, making diyas, pots and a lot of other things. They mess up themselves and they're so excited while doing that. It also increases their hand-eye coordination as well. So that's how it helps them.
That is amazing. That's great to know.
Thank you.
Ma'am, can I come in?
Yeah, please come in.
Oh wow, what's this? It's so nice.
So in the previous session, children became little explorers where they have gone out for bug hunting and they observe different features of the bugs using the magnifying glasses. And today they are creating their imagination using the pipe cleaners and they are trying to make whatever they have observed yesterday.
That is amazing. Ma'am, can I come in? Yes? Ma'am, I have a question for you. People often say that if AI can answer every question, then what's the role of a parent or a school in a student's life?
Right. So the AI can give information as much as we require, but it cannot build relationships. At our parent partnership office, we believe that children's growth doesn't happen only in the classrooms. It happens when parents and the school work collaboratively. Through our parent-led workshops, parent-led initiatives such as Sarthi, Bunyad, Anubhav, we create environment which is transparent to have conversations, build trust and create sense of belonging.
That's great, ma'am. Thank you so much.
No problem. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Ma'am, may I come in?
Yes.
Ma'am, I just had a question. All my friends tell me that they talk to AI bots and seek advice from it. Do you think in the near future, will AI replace school counselors?
That's a great question, Arnie. Well, I think you can always go to an AI bot for a solution to your problems. But we here as counselors, we answer the individual behind the question. Because well-being is not just about information. It's about empathy, it's about guidance, observation, and above all else, human connection. Empathy cannot be an algorithm. It's about a relationship.
Excuse me, ma'am. Are you the career counselor?
Yes, I am.
Ma'am, I had a few questions.
Sure.
If AI can tell me all I need to know about careers and colleges, then what's the requirement of a career guidance then?
Right, it can give you a lot of information in brochures, but does it really know who you are? It certainly knows how you type, but who you are as a person, what excites you in a class, what really makes you enthusiastic to learn a topic, that is someone a close observant only can tell. And moreover, can it create these beautiful experiences for you where you actually go and intern with someone, where you can actually interact with a university representative. That comes through the relationships that we have built with the parents, alumni and universities through this time period. So yes, you can use it as an assistant, but the decision needs to be yours.
Absolutely, ma'am. That sounds great. I'll definitely seek your help in the future.
Thank you,
Thank
Annie.
you so much. Wow, this bench looks quite different.
Yes, this isn't just a bench. It's actually a transformation. It's crafted from upcycled plastic waste and reminds us that what we discard can be converted into something useful.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And what's this?
This is the second edition of our denim donation drive, and we thought that instead of letting them end up in the landfills, why not convert them into something purposeful and meaningful? And it's also part of our many initiatives that we run under Prakriti Secretariat.
That's amazing. But what's Prakriti Secretariat?
Prakriti Secretariat is a student-led sustainability initiative that is built by the 5 action-driven cells and under 3 collaborative verticals. Here the students just don't learn about the environmental challenges, they create solutions. Today in the world of AI, you can get to know how it can be done. But under Prakriti Secretariat, you can live that how.
That is a great initiative. I would love to join this.
Really? We
Yeah.
are eager to see you there.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Whoa, what's all of this rush about?
We're going to the GK class.
GK? Rush for GK?
Come, we'll show you.
Wasn't GK about mugging up capitals and awards?
That was old GK beta. This is Prashan. So, old GK was just about mugging up current affairs and facts, but at DPS Dwarka Expressway, Prashna asked not just what, but what if, how, and why. So, if we are asking students who won the Nobel Prize, what does this discovery mean for India, for you, for the world? There's so much more to learn than just current affairs. With AI, we can just get it in minutes. So what does it mean for you, having an opinion about it, knowledge paired with opinions? That is what Prashna is about. And we do that not just through textbooks, but through projects, group work, debates, and so much more. That's Prashna.
A higher value of me means you are...
I hear a lot of enthusiastic voices.
Who am I?
I wonder what's happening.
I help business handle their daily financial operations efficiently. Who am I? Very good. Hi, welcome to Financial Literacy.
Thank you so much, ma'am. I just had a quick question. Why do we need to teach financial literacy?
Yes?
It helps us learn the value of money, make informed choices, and prepares us to make real-life monetary decisions, not just through classroom learning, but through real-life experiences.
But ma'am, AI can answer all these queries about finance. Why do we need these classes?
AI can calculate, analyze, and even give financial advice, but it can't build judgment, values, and responsibility.
Welcome back, Arnie. So what is it that you saw in the school?
I saw belongingness. You know how the teachers, the admin, the students, and the parents work together to create a safe and secure learning platform. Secondly, the student-led initiate different teaching pedagogies. It's quite a spectrum. School provides such a wide variety of activities, 10 plus sports, 10 plus performing arts platforms, and 15 plus club activities. It really allows students to showcase their talents and to bring forth what they can provide to the world.
I'm so glad that you could notice, because it's rare to see the connection. It's rare to see the culture and belief that the school holds. And now I feel it's time for us all to see how these 3 communities' voices talk to each other and make us more informed about, in this ever-changing age of artificial intelligence, human intelligence is still a superpower, and what all we need to cover to achieve that. Thank you.
Namaskar. It's such a proud moment to welcome all of you to Samvaad Reconnect. I have with me our proud student Sanvi, our junior head girl, our prudent parent, I must say, Ms. Shweta, and a very eminent personality, Mr. Eklag Bari, in the field of AI. AI actually is a buzzword. It is something that we are living, eating, analyzing, and even decision making is done through AI. For some, it is a lot of opportunities. For others, it is a concern. But there's one question that is very important. What is AI? Why is it such a transformative force? So I want to start with my student here, Sanvi. A small question to you, Sanvi. Beta, you've been doing your projects, you've been doing your homeworks, you must be using AI at length. I want to have an understanding how AI has impacted your learning and how your schoolwork has changed because of AI.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for the question. I think as times evolve, a lot of students today that went home, they're going to look at their homework, and all they're going to do is look at the test, copy it out, put it out on some AI chat system, and they're going to get their answer. Or better yet, they're going to take a picture and it's going to give them instantaneous answers. And I think that is where students' brains stop thinking. That's where they stop analyzing what they're supposed to do and just start copying everything since it's all given to them. I think AI is very critical as to what way you should use it. I think when you have a tool that can be used to achieve greatness, you should use it to an extent that enables you to still be unique within yourself.
Wonderful said, Sanvi. You know, I hope all the children understand this and all the children follow what you're saying, because this is very, very important. Nowadays, they're just blindly chat GPTing everything, and that is what they're doing. Thank you so much for helping us understand that. Ms. Shweta, one question for you. You know, we both have been in a world which was not AI world. We've been brought up like that, where textbooks were very important for us, our test papers and everything was very important. So how scary is it for you to think about your child in this AI world and to think about the future of your child? Are you scared? Are you concerned? Are you excited? I want your thoughts on that.
I think that is a rich question, first of all, so thank you for asking that. Because I think it's a concern, or probably it's a question that comes in every parent's mind. And a similar question, I would say, came into our parents' mind when we were introduced to internet, when we were introduced to social media, right? So world will always change and transform. So for me, change is always exciting. That's the first point I want to make, because it helps you learn, it helps you evolve, it helps to try and test areas that you've never explored. So that's extremely critical. Second, yes, with every positive output, there is a negative side to it. And I think Sanvi spoke through some of the positives really impactfully, because as a parent, what really excites me, and even as a professional in today's industry, what excites me is the resources, the instant response, the personalized learning, all of which AI offers to you. Because I remember when I had to look for something earlier, I literally had to run to a library or, you know, meet my teachers or mentors the next day. And that's when I would find an answer to something deeper. But today, children can just do that instantly. Which is great. Similarly, a child sitting in a village can learn about astrophysics, can learn about robotics without really bothering anybody else around. AI is there. More importantly, this is generative AI, but more importantly, AI is there in how you receive healthcare today, in how you do your banking transactions, in literally every aspect of your life. It is changing, and it is definitely going to change in the next 20 years. So the question whether I'm excited or nervous, I think more important is how am I going to help my child immerse in AI. So that's the point that I really continue to think, and there is no best answer to it. But I think a couple of things that I as a parent do, which is to what AI cannot do. What AI cannot do is simply cannot be human. Right? So that's a point that we instill and we sort of encourage at home. Ask questions. So before you ask AI a question, find and try to think what is the question, and you try to find an answer to it with whatever limited knowledge you have. So instead of going instantly to AI, if you have a question or a project or a homework to do, First you sit and think what I should be doing, and then take AI, go to AI for help. Similarly, let your children question you. Let your children make mistakes. Let your children not have the right answers, because ma'am, you would know that when we grew up, I think one of the most important things was stability. Your answers have to be correct. You need to find a good job. That's the formula of success. But today's success is completely dependent on uncertainty and how fast you can adapt and evolve in that uncertainty. And I think AI offers those avenues for our children. So make sure that we are helping our children to be more, have the right judgment, use AI ethically, or use information ethically to be able to process the information from the information deluge we have, and to be able to continue to stay humble, kind, empathy. All of those human connections are very critical in this ever-evolving AI world. So I think I'm excited to watch out for what this world is going to change into, with my child taking up future careers, learning great skills with AI. So great question, and thank you for the opportunity to speak about this.
Thank you, Ms. Shweta. It is so good to know, and it is so brave of our parents to say that AI is no ghost here in the room, and it is something that we need to embrace. We need to have all the positives of AI, not looking at most of the negatives like a parent would do. So right now we are going to have a conversation with Mr. Eklakbari, a renowned name in AI industry. We've had a conversation with a student, with a parent, but he is the one who's going to explain us all about AI. I just wanted to have an understanding, how can a school be AI ready?
Okay, so what schools need to do is first I actually believe the government should come up with a law that Norway has come up with a law, no use of AI up to a certain grade. So it's banned, right? If not, then the school should ban use of AI, and there should be some consequences if somebody is found to be using AI. So I think the biggest responsibility is to prevent children from using AI, because that goes against what you are trying to do. Thing about AI is students should not be using it, but teachers and school can use it, right? I believe, and it is going to happen. The parent did mention that education and healthcare is going to become more accessible and more affordable. So we had the example of a child in a village can learn astrophysics. AI is going to further increase the reach, and AI is going to further make it more and more affordable. But one aspect of AI is that it can personalize things to a person, 1:1. You see, our content today is one size fits all. I have a classroom of 30, 35 children. I have a set of PPT slides or whatever I might be, but I am teaching in one particular way. Now those children, you can divide them possibly into, some are visual learners, some are auditory learners, some are kinesthetic learners. Now AI can actually the same content but render it in different mechanisms so as to match with the learning style of the student. So that's one way schools can use AI. The second way is, and this is always something that the school works on, is how do I best communicate a concept and land it, and AI can help you there, simplifying concepts, making it step-by-step approach till you get to that learning. And the third one is related to the first one, which is, look, teachers have a lot of assessments to do, and they do their best to be able to give the marks and to give the feedback to the child. But AI can really personalize that assessment and that feedback. Right? It's not about, a child has scored less in maths, but or if two children have gotten the same marks in maths, but one could be missing on arithmetic, the other one could be missing on geometry. Right? So AI can say, okay, this person is in geometry, this particular chapter and this one, and therefore his or her learning path should be according to this. So personalized learning, personalized feedback, personalized learning, and making it easy to grasp is how school should be using AI.
Thank you so much, sir. We'll be using your expertise also to make our school AI equipped and to have benefits of AI according to what you said for all our students, all our teachers. Thank you. So one last question, that what scares you and what scares you about AI as a leader of AI?
Great question. What scares me most is children using AI to do outsourcing their thinking to AI. And therefore, we ending up with a generation with stunted cognitive development, right? So that scares me most when it comes to education. When we broaden the horizon, AI comes with actually more risk than it comes with benefits. People who can misuse AI and AI being used to harm people at a scale. So these are the things that scare me about AI.
We've all learned that AI is very important for all of us. Technology is something that is in. But at DPS Dwarka Expressway, this is not the only thing we want to do. We are much up and beyond technology, AI. And in our next segment, I would like to explore that. Thank you.
Welcome back. We know that our children have access to so much information ready at their fingertips. But then again, the purpose of education is not just to provide answers to questions, but in fact, it's also to build character. Let's delve a little deeper into this subject. So Tashi, as a student, I'm sure you've used AI maybe to do your homework or attempt a project. But tell me honestly, do you think that children can actually learn from AI? Or do you think that AI is actually preventing them from thinking independently?
Yes, ma'am. Okay, so being completely honest, I have used AI for my homeworks and projects and obviously for those silly questions that we have these days. But I think, yes, AI is preventing us to think independently because there is a quote in Mahabharata, Ati Sarvatra Varjet. Abundance of anything can turn its pros into cons in an instant. The abundant use of AI and technology has led us to stop thinking, and those thinking caps have been stolen from us. We are not having those creative minds and not putting a thought into everything that we have achieved.
That's so well said. Sir, I'd like to ask you next. They say that AI is changing the world. In your opinion, in the next 10 years or so, how do you think AI is going to change our schools?
Rather than answering that, I would like to answer that what is not going to change in next 10 years. AI is a tool, and tools are made to enhance the human efficiency.
Absolutely.
They are made to serve us. They are not made to replace us. In DPS Dwarka Expressway, our primary focus is to build character of a student. We want to create leaders. And there are 3 strands to leadership which I have figured out. One is to create, second is to solve, and third is to maximize. AI can only act as a support system to achieve the same. Second, service before self is what DPS stands for, which means that putting others ahead of you. So what we teach through Parichay curriculum in the school is that individual good should be the byproduct of serving the larger good. Third thing, which is very close to my heart, is execution. 10% is idea, 90% is execution. That 10% can be leveraged through AI, but 90% of the execution has to have a human intervention to it. We have to drive the execution with our teams. So in the planning or in creating formats, AI can be used, but when it comes to executing it, I think I firmly believe that it requires human intervention. So, through Parichya curriculum in the school, we have created a decision-making framework where what I believe, if we understand the problem, if we define the problem, we are 50% done with the problem. So we have a format where we write defining the problem, causes to the problem, probable solution to the problem, and then we arrive to the conclusion. This is how we, train our students to take decisions for their life. Then comes our inner curriculum. Though there are a lot of things from well-being department which is executed, but few things which are really close to my heart is, one is self-mastery, second is perception, and third is thought, feeling and action cycle. The definition of a perception is how you are perceiving the world outside of you through these 5 senses. So actually there is no reality, there is always a perceived reality. Supposingly if you have a problem or a challenge, how ma'am you are perceiving it, how Tashi is perceiving it, how I am perceiving it, it will be different. So there is no reality, there is only a perceived reality. Now, through this chapter of perception, what we are trying to teach our students is, 1, never superimpose your perception on others. 2, we should keep renewing our perceptions about others. We have to always keep changing our glasses. Why? Because people change, time change. Last, thought, feeling and action cycle. There are 3 things to river which defines the personality of the river. The quality of the water, the quantity of the water, and the direction of the water. Now how we have linked this to thought, feeling and action cycle is, in a person, the quantity of the thoughts matter, the quality of the thoughts matter, and the direction of thoughts matter. It is a saying that it is not about our intelligence, it is about a direction of our intelligence which determines our future. To reduce the quantity of the thoughts, we have a curriculum of yoga in the school, where through breathing, through silence, try to quieten the mind of the student and the teachers. We all should do it. And when it comes to quality of our thoughts, I think our well-being department is giving directions to our students. This is what a character building circle we have created, where I believe that it is not going to change for next 10 years. AI will definitely grow, but tools are only there to enhance human efficiency. Thank you so much.
So beautifully said, sir. Thank you so much. So ma'am, I'd like to ask you next. If AI can answer everything, then what should we teach here in schools that AI or machines probably cannot?
Thank you, Christine, for such an important question. Let me just tackle the elephant in the room. Do you all remember Gurukul? Right? What do you used to do in Gurukul? Everybody used to learn at their own pace, in their own way. And you know what AI is actually? AI is a technological Gurukul. As a school, as a teacher, our role is going to become more prominent. As a parent also. Whichever curriculum you pick up a UNESCO curriculum, every framework talks about human-centric approach. And that's what our role will come again. As soon as the technology will advance, the AI will come. The role of teacher, parent and the school, this entire triangle will become more and more prominent. And what we have to do is, which we have been doing as teachers is, creating that curiosity in the child alive, providing that love. We don't need to impart information, we just need to focus towards the character building, emotion resilience, and keeping that creativity in that child alive. Let the child do experiment. And AI will become as a partner. It's going to be, making children's work easier. As a teacher, our workload is going to go like 50% halfway. We can use it for grading, we can use to create tests and assessments, upskilling, getting more and more knowledge, and for children, helping them to be their, personal buddy. AI is going to do only a one part or few part, but the major role is going to be played by us, that human connection. So let's partner with AI. I always say this triangle is very important, and it's time for all the parents to partnership with the schools and especially the teacher. Then the curriculum will work. Thank you.
I completely agree, ma'am. And what I feel is that the chemistry between a teacher and a student should be there. And that is built very early. If it is not built, then the chemistry is not there, and the learning, the transformation of knowledge will not happen. Yeah.
Just we need to make that connect.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you.
It makes me think that, maybe we don't need to fear AI.
Not at all.
We just need to know how to probably use it, and probably for the best purposes as well. So thank you for sharing.
You mentioned that fear. So it's a very beautiful quote that if you fear the fear, fear grows. If you face the fear, fear goes. So we have to face it. Thank you.
And with that beautiful thought, what I'm hearing is that we cannot compete with AI and how it delivers information. Our responsibility is to build children that can create, that can think responsibly, and that can lead. We are so proud here of the curriculum that we teach to our children here at DPS Dwarka Expressway as part of our social emotional learning. We teach them not just to think about what they are thinking, but we are very happy to go with their pace as well, so that each child learns and grows feeling complete and whole. And with that, let's move to the next section.
Welcome back to Samvaad Reconnect. So far, we have heard from our experts and parents about how AI is transforming our world. But as students, we are the ones who will grow up, study, and build careers in this AI-powered future. So, how do you ensure that we leverage opportunities AI offers, and how to ensure human element remains alive at DPS Dwarka Expressway?
The difference between AI and humans lies in emotions. Emotions are essential for human relationships. In schools, specifically talking about DPS Dwarka Expressway, if the student is not able to learn or remember the lesson, but definitely they are going to remember how the school made them feel. In school, we have a lot of safe spaces where child is not known by their marks, but by their names. So we have parent partnership office, we have well-being department, and as leaders, we do leaders in latte every quarter with our Bunyad parents to induce human element in the school. At the last, I would like to conclude in a way where I would like to say that AI might give you all the answers, but the main thing is we have to teach students how to ask right questions. So through project-based learning, through inquiry-based, we teach students how to ask right questions. Thank you.
Right, sir. Now that brings me to my next question for our expert who works at the intersection of AI and education. Sir, what life skills do you believe students will need the most in future, and how can school ensure them?
Okay, thank you Kavya for such a lovely question. Okay, one thing before answering your question, I think which is more important is with AI coming into picture, life skills have become even more important for everyone. Not just for students, not just for teachers, but for everyone, right? AI, AI is doing is, it is making your work easy, right? But to work with AI, you need to be more smarter, right? Now, this is the first time in human history, what is happening is we have someone more capable than us in terms of when we compare a human being with a machine, more intelligent than us, and they have more data than us. which is absolutely impossible for a human to have all these data and then do all the analysis. So the life skills that are important is, first of all, and the most important is being curious, not just about the world, but about ourselves. Self-realization, self-motivation is the first thing that everyone should has to learn as a skill. Second is thinking right. Now with such a information, so many information, such a vast knowledge of information is happening, right? We are not clear what is the right, what is fake, what is real, what is unreal. Your critical thinking becomes even more important because we all are seeing this, that if there's a WhatsApp forward that is happening, people without reading, without analyzing, without understanding the source, we are just randomly forwarding things. What it does, it creates fake and rumors around all of us. So that's the second skill, is critical thinking. And the third thing that is very, very important is being courageous. We all have a fear of failure within us, right? We don't want to try anything new. And that is the biggest limitation that we have in our mind. It is not about the resources, it is not about the knowledge. The most successful person is not the person who is most knowledgeable. The most successful person is who is more courageous, who can take risk, and who's okay to fail. So I think these are the three more important life skills that every child should have and every school should inculcate. Now, how schools should do it? Very easy. Bring life labs in school. So we are preparing students for life. We are preparing them to have multiple challenges in life. So unless until you are in the school and you are able to give those challenges within the school premises where there's a safe environment, right? And I'm glad to have me here at DPS Expressway, right? The idea is that when we are talking about life labs, so we give them real life scenarios. And by the way, this is what NEP is also talking about, कि बच्चों को real life examples, real life scenarios के साथ we have to make them apprise of those situations, right? So creating life labs, creating experiential learning. One of the most important part with an AI era coming into picture is how good are you able to make other people experience. It is all about experience. You go to a trip, you like the trip not because you've been somewhere, because you experienced something new. Today we are sitting here talking to each other. It is the experience that we are creating. So ultimately, education should bring those experiences in life, and that is what every school should focus.
So in entrepreneurship, it is said that we have a product, then we have a service, and then we have experience. Nowadays, every big brand is focusing on the experience side.
This is so true, sir, because there's no competitive advantage apart from creating an experience. Every product more or less will have same kind of feature if you pick any product in that way, right? Ultimately, how you experience with the product, with the service, and the person sitting next to you, right? That creates more advantage to anyone.
I believe that because your product can be copied, your people can be taken, poached. Two things cannot be taken from your organization. One is your culture. Second is your experience, the kind of experience you give to your parents, your clients. That makes all the difference.
Definitely, sir. Yeah.
That was so insightful, sir. Now, moving to my last question, ma'am. Talking about these changes, how is TPS Dwarka Expressway adjusting its curriculum with the development of skills that leverage AI?
Thank you for the question. And first of all, you'll have to understand that AI is not a subject, right? There are three different things. One is technology, one is digitization, and one is AI. They're totally different, right? When we talk about technology, it is a subject, right? Digitization is something that is implemented. AI is a tool. It is a tool to make children future ready. It is a tool that helps logical thinking in children. It helps the children to analyze a problem. Critical thinking is what it is making the children do. And it is actually a thinking cap. It is not something that we have to include it as a curriculum. Now, how do we do it in Dwarka Expressway? We are integrating it in each subject. Let's say, for example, I'll talk about mathematics here. Okay. So now every big complex problem is divided into small problems, and then patterns are analyzed. And then what we do is we abstract data from it. And then step by step calculations are done. This is what AI does. And how science is done? Real life simulation models. For example, if you have to study a cell structure, AI will help you study the cell structure at the grassroots level. What is a proton? How is an electron working? Everything, everything. That is what AI helps here. When you talk about social science, digital citizenship, it helps, biasing, privacy, everything is taught in social science. When you come as computer as a subject, sir, we've got ICT 360 degree because of this only, because AI, projects are there that are relevant to AI, real world examples, that is what we are teaching children. And also, the main focus of DPS Dwarka Expressway, like sir just mentioned, is not just looking at technology. It is more communication, it is more creativity, it is more critical thinking, and bottom line, what all of us, sir, me and all of us at DPS believe is that we are not building robots, we are building human beings. And so AI is integrated, and that is why, on a lighter note, our topic of today's discussion is also AI. Thank you.
That actually makes so much sense, ma'am. As students, we often associate schools with academics, exams, marks. But today's conversation reminds me that some of the most important aspects that will carry it in future are not found in textbooks at all. These are qualities like empathy, self-awareness, resilience, and the ability to build meaningful relationships. And that's how I understood why our school invests so much in its well-being department, our school counselors, or the life skill sessions and essay sessions we have. Now let's have our next panel. Thank you.
Welcome back to yet another interesting segment of Samvaad Reconnect. Every generation thinks that it is doing something wonderful to secure the future of children. But yet, history has a habit of embarrassing us. In an age where we are simply trying to understand how curiosity can be developed, we also have to understand that AI is doing assignments, jobs are changing faster than the contents of textbook, and robots are doing surgery. What is truth? What is artificial? What is human? Let's explore today. So Ainesh, I have a question for you. When you come to the school, we understand that we don't come to schools just for studies. We come to make memories. We come to be with our friends. So far in your journey, what has been the happiest days of your school or some happy memories? And have they centered more about when you secured a better result or something else?
That's a really thought-provoking question, ma'am. Honestly, I don't think I can think of one single school day that was my happiest. I mean, there's countless. As a student, I believe my memories which cling to my heart are definitely the little moments. The moments that go far beyond those test scores. Like when a teacher appreciates my answer which I created in class, or when my talent gets a chance to be showcased on stage, and especially when I got the prestigious opportunity to lead the student council. But without a doubt, it is my friends and my teachers who I cherish the most. And like the birthdays which are filled with excitement, toffees, cards, and the teachers' days which are just harboring gratitude and so much joy. But one of the most exciting and the thing that genuinely makes my heart flutter the most is definitely the day when I realized that I finally found my people, the people who are who are always gonna be there by my side for many years to come. And of course, my soon-to-be grade 12th farewell. It's definitely going to be a day filled with tears and love and even bittersweet nostalgia.
Wonderful. I think to understand from a child's perspective that because they are also having a roller coaster. They complete an assignment and submit it. Now they are confused whether the teacher is checking the answer or the better prompting that they have given. So it's a age of revolution and change for them, but yet what stabilizes and what still makes room for memories is experiences. And experience is something that any machine, any gadget cannot amplify, cannot give. It is a human connect. It is relationships. So thank you so much for sharing your perspective. Now let's ask someone who has questioned a stack of credentials, credits, academic scores, and brought a lot of focus to curiosity and character. So, Shiv, my question to you, what do you think are the skills that a child will flourish in 10 years from now?
The problem is that the content itself is changing. The system hasn't changed in the last several decades. This is only a recent development. So I don't think the reflection is new. I think the answers we need to find are now more urgent because the technology is moving very quickly. The way I see it, the role of the school should become much simpler. It should really just be about having the humility to understand that the syllabus we are teaching is either already outdated or will be outdated very soon. And so that is not the crux of what I'm doing here. We're trying to build an environment where the child can explore. And so I think of teachers as curators of learning experiences. The skill set has to become more about enabling a learner, enabling a beautiful human being to live a successful life. And I think the definition of success can be completely different for two children, and as it should be. I think, अलग-अलग फूलों से गुलदस्ता बनता है, and ऐसे ही होना चाहिए. So there is a need for us to just think of very simple principles of is the child happy? Is the child safe? Is the child healthy? And as long as these three needs are met, all the responsible adults in the child's life, parents, teachers, other adults, are essentially trying to let the child be. Let them explore their curiosity, learn whatever they want to learn. So as long as we can ensure these three pillars, I think the skill sets, the specifics of what you've asked me, the skill sets of the future, the kids will build on their own. I think we need to really try and trust the nature of human beings, that they are anti-fragile, we are anti-fragile by definition, and we learn, we adapt, we figure it out, we survive. Just don't be in the way of it. Don't create problems where there need not be any.
So true, because it unfolds. Whenever there is a problem, say, there is a lot of unfoldment of the self, and there is a skill that comes out while dealing with that. And being in the school, I also sometimes agree to the fact that there have to be some restraint. There is a reason why calculators are not allowed in few examinations, because it lets the child open the gateways for thought, for reasoning, for logic, for struggle and for judgment. Because mostly answers are there. AI is giving you answers, but where is the judgment? Knowledge is in abundance, but wisdom is scarce. So that's where, thank you so much for answering the question.
I'll just add to what you just said. We don't know where the world is going. And so the way that the skill set should be chosen should be from a perspective of uncertainty, from a perspective of assumed uncertainty. We don't know. We don't know if this is going to be true a few years from now. We don't know where science is going. We don't definitely know where history is going. We don't know, the past and the future are all up for debate and are moving very quickly. Our knowledge systems are developing. Understand that uncertainty, accept it, and don't try and build for a very specific kind of future that you imagine right now. And try and find the abstract skills that can enable that. We want knowledge, we want experiences, we want to go out there, and the variety of that specifics of that curiosity. The fact that everybody's curiosity is different. I'm an artist, my curiosity is in poetry, somebody else might be an architect, they're curious about bridges, and thank God, because the poet needs the bridge to get to his mushaira, right? So there is a beauty to the way that we are as a society. Just defend curiosity. The ability to understand your curiosity, pursue it, master it, excel in it, that's the one pathway that I would
Wonderful.
recommend.
Thank you so much. Bringing a parent perspective to the panel, I would ask you this question, that when you reflect back and you see, what is that one thing that from your own childhood you would really want your child to have when she grows up?
Interesting question. One thing that I would want her to have in this age would be boredom. I think we had a lot of time getting bored because probably we did not have that much of screen time. we did not stay in places wherein, you know, it was not a society or those kind of, you know, friends were not just available after school. So we had a lot of time to get bored, and I feel that today's kids lack that time. And very important part of being bored is, I believe, creativity comes from boredom. When you're just lying down and looking at the fan above, there's so many ideas that come in the mind. So I think this is one skill that I would want my child to get bored, not have screen time, or as in lesser screen time, and at least get some time for herself where she's not thinking about anything else and she's
So
getting
true.
bored.
I totally agree with you, because our most of the focus to fill our day whenever we feel that there is a missing part is entertainment, and entertainment is coming in very small packages. In fact, the ability to receive or grasp information or to convert it into small bites so for us to go it into long-term memory is also 90 seconds. So everything, you know, gladly students don't have the option of swiping here in the school, otherwise a lot of things would change. So I get it. And और वो वही समय था, आई थिंक, वो बचपन में जो जब हम बोर होते थे तो मम्मी की साड़ी का टेंट बनाते थे, यूज टू रन, यूज टू कट द हेयर ऑफ द डॉल एंड देन अंडरस्टैंड कि अपने बाल नहीं काटने बिकॉज इट लुक्स अगली. So I think with the exploration and experimentation that we did around our childhood helped us make more meaningful connections with environment and with people around, and that's what our aim and our expectation for our student is. So we've heard some wonderful views coming from a parent perspective, from a student perspective, and an expert. But what we also realize is that we are not competing with AI. We are not competing with anything that's coming into our lives. In fact, our aim has to be to become more compatible, more accommodative, and that will happen once we start working on our own selves. To understand oneself is to understand the world around. And that's my stop message or take home message from this section, is that let us be curious, and for that sometimes let us be bored. Thank you. Welcome back to yet another segment of Samvaad Reconnect. Well, I have a question to ask all of you today. What does being a parent look like? Yes, as parents, we all love our children. But the question is not how much we love, but what do we do to love them? Do you as a parent make their favorite dishes at home so that they can enjoy a meal? Do you clean their room before they come from the school? Do you make sure that you clear their clutter? Do you make sure that you also assist or sometimes replace them in doing their own assignments? If it does sound like you need to know something more powerful. Love will remain love, but something that should not, in fact, cannot replace independence is you doing stuff for your child. We have to understand where comfort and convenience will soon become a behavior, and they will not learn how to manage themselves or accommodate themselves in this fast-moving pace world. Let's hear all the perspective today in this segment, and let's start with a student perspective. So Mannat, my question for you today is, what is that one thing that your parents would really trust that you can do on your own?
Thank you so much for the question, ma'am. I think one thing that I would like my parents to trust me with is handling an argument or misunderstanding by myself. I understand that parents might feel like if they don't step in, the situation might just escalate. But outside the safety dome of school and parents is a world that is harsh, where you'll be alone. There'll be a lot of moments where you have to handle the situation by yourself. And I think this early step into handling your own problems, arguments, misunderstandings by yourself will only help you develop your personality as a person, and in the future will only guide you to wonders. And I think moreover that trust is not something that should be given or demanded or forced to my parents. I feel like I should earn it. They should have that thought in mind that, yeah, you know, my daughter is capable enough to handle her situations by herself. So at the end of the day, trust is never given, demanded, forced from your parents. It's always earned. So you have to make sure you're earning.
That's so nice to hear it from you. I think we as educators mostly teach this to children, but coming from a child, that the parents can trust you for having the right temperament at the right time. And this alone distinguishes all human beings from others, that the emotional intelligence, the ability to understand and choose the right action, right feeling and right thought is something that's very unique to us. And thank you so much for answering it. So my next question is to our guidance counselor, Shreya. So Shreya, tell me honestly that how many times do you yourself have felt the need to step in when you're wanting your kids to work, but still you feel the urge that let me do it myself, or will they take some more time? How many times as educators you have experienced it?
Honestly, quite a lot of times, ma'am. But I think over my years at DPS Dwarka Expressway, one thing that I've learned is that truly empowering your children does not mean doing things, perfectly for the parents on their behalf. It means that you create that experience for them that they can come up themselves and make their decisions. And it is also equally our responsibility to ensure to imbibe those life values in them, so that when the moment comes to take that decision, they do it responsibly, thinking of the greater good of the humanity. In fact, last week when we were doing the weekend immersion program by ISBF and LSE, one child came up and told me that, ma'am, logistically this thing could have been improved. Of course, my first reaction was ungratefulness. However, just after moments of reflection, I realized that this is perhaps my greatest achievement. Because that child was not ungrateful. She was, quite enthusiastic throughout the program. In fact, she shared the great feedback. However, she had the analyzing capability to look between those perfect lines. She had amazing communication that, she was able to communicate it to me in a way that, it seemed like a constructive feedback. And the best thing was that, she felt safe enough to come and give that feedback on my face. So, that is the beauty of it when you give the children that true empowerment. For the longest time, I also thought, grade 10 students are always focused on their studies. They don't really care about, life skills. However, just last month, when one of the children, Parushi, she came up and she showed a website that she had developed and digitalized the time management techniques that we cover in life skills, like, Pomodoro technique, Eisenhower matrix. And I realized and I was surprised that, the children are actually listening to you. So it's like, growing a tree. If you are making the roots strong, they are going to flourish for sure. And that's what we believe is my responsibility here as a guidance counselor, to imbibe those values in them and creating those experiences, and the children will flourish themselves.
Well, thank you, Shreya, for answering it. Parents at home can focus on is that when the chemistry between you and your child is alive, everything can make sense to him or her. Now, all the parents are also excited to understand what the experts say about it. So, ma'am, for over a decade, I feel that mostly all the parents have focused on bringing out the best in their children by not only giving them space for excelling in academics, but also giving them an ecosystem for extracurriculars. And most often I see that some of the parents have really made their child a project. There's annual meetings, there are weekly reviews, and now the heart wonders that poor child just needs some fresh dinner. And so what I'm trying to ask you is that being protective is a parental quality. It is a quality that all parents by nature embrace and imbibe. But can this overprotectiveness come in the way of a child's development? Also, where is it that the parents need to strike the right balance?
It's a wonderful question. As parents, we are biologically wired to protect, right? To take care, and seeing our children in distress can be very distressing an experience for ourselves as well. And therefore, we are constantly protecting them. So I think one of the great qualities of parenting is, foundational qualities of parenting is support. We need to provide support. But sometimes acts of support actions that we show as support can turn into overprotection. And that overprotection, one of the biggest telltale signs of it is that we have solved the problem for our children, but we haven't taught them how to solve the problem. And like how she was talking about trust and creating that space that I can handle. So yes, we don't want our children to be in conflict. We don't want them to fight. We don't want them to have difficult situations in their life. But we also have to have that belief that we are imparting enough wisdom to our children where when they face that, experience that difficult time, they have learned how to manage it, and therefore support can show up as, I am here with you in this experience. I am seeing you, I'm seeing what you need. I am being with you in the experience, but I'm not stepping in and solving the problem for you. So that's overstepping, or that's overprotection, where I start solving the problem rather than being with them in the experience of the difficulty that they're experiencing. So let me just take a very simple example. If you have to teach your child how to ride a bike, if I start riding the bike every day and say to the child, look how I'm riding, I'm doing this, and you have to do like this, and you have to put your foot here, and you have to hold the bike like this, my child will never be able to learn the bike. How to ride the bike. But if I'm standing by my child, I'm holding, initially I'm just walking with them and making them feel the movement, and then slowly maybe there are support wheels, and letting them ride a little, and I'm running with them, or eventually when they fall, I'm sitting with them on the grass and be like, okay, you got a bump, should we try again? We hug them and they cry. That is support, right? And that's when the child will learn, he will or she will know how much speed they like, how much balancing they need to do, how they need to maneuver the bike. They learned how to solve the problem, right? So as parents, our job is not to make our children's life struggle free. It is to ensure that if struggles come up, they can persevere through it. And our perseverance will happen when we are with them in that, that process of figuring out the solution. So trust, like you said, we have to trust them, and we can trust them if we trust ourselves, that we were able to overcome our struggles. So then so will the next generation, so will our children, and every generation will come with new struggles. So sometimes they will understand the context better than us. So when we are supporting, and in psychology we call it scaffolding, where we are providing the just right support, where it's not too much support so that there's dependence, and there is not too lesser support that the child feels abandoned. We are scaffolding the skills required to go through life and deal with the realities of life. Our children will flourish, and we as parents then will flourish because our next generation is doing okay.
Yes, and thank you for your very, very enlightening views, because I totally believe what you say, how important it is for a child and the ecosystem to understand what emotional intelligence is. We can proudly say that at DPS Dwarka Expressway, we make sure that parents are just not expected to do the right thing. In fact, parents are encouraged and empowered to do the right thing. Why? Because the child is always at the center. It is not a school where a parent would visit the school just on PTMs or on exhibitions or on report card days or when grievance occurs. It is a school where parents are welcome to share their ideas and build a meaningful contribution and relationship to the school. If I have an expert in the field of technology, they would definitely come and give my children a session on cybersecurity, and that is how the parent partnership is becoming stronger. I think before looking for anyone outside, we first look around our parent community, that if we have an expert in the parent community, let's go for it. And that what has also emerged and reflected in our Samvaad Reconnect sessions. Thank you so much everyone for listening to us and contributing so vividly to this entire segment. Thank you. Welcome everyone to the last segment of Samvaad Reconnect. Well, for decades now, the life principle for success was completely clear to everyone. Choose a good school, score good marks, get into a good course, and job was guaranteed, placements were there, and that's what life was all about. But in the increasing and understanding the way things are changing, the entire trend has changed. And what we are looking at today are just not conventional degrees. There are skill acquisitions, there is student portfolio, there are countless other things that matter more than just degrees. Well, if degrees were first the destination, then today I would say they are just the boarding pass. And also understanding, with a varied research in career guidance, we have to understand that employability has to be linked with skills rather than just marks. With this, I am not saying that marks and degrees are not important, but the forecast and the predictability has come down to a level where we say that marks do not represent a complete picture. Let's understand with this amazing and distinguished panel today. So Jaskaran, here's my question for you. While you are still a student and you are going through a lot of increasing demands in terms of what the parent expects from you and what the teachers expect from you, so where is your say and what would you tell other students to focus on?
Well, to me it's all about building a profile, and that profile is like a jigsaw puzzle. So then my marks or my academic report acts as one piece of that jigsaw puzzle from which I can build on to build my future. If I would look at employers and universities which I would like to get into, they would view me as a personality that is being developed. They understand the fact that the people who think differently are the ones who create a difference. So to accommodate for that, I need to shape myself and I need to mold myself in such a way. So if I would look at building my personality, the most important things would be to take initiative and to really throw myself in all kinds of situations. So one way to do that would be through extracurriculars. And I think the school has given me a good opportunity for that. I've taken part in MUNs, I've taken part in quizzes, many things that will really help you build your personality. And I think that's what we need to build on.
Thank you for your wonderful views. And also I would say that, we all, because we are quite settled in our careers now, I would say that we all got our jobs because of the kind of qualifications or marks or the mark sheets that we had. But we sustained and we kept on growing because of the temperament that we carried on and because of the skills that we acquired over the years. So thank you for your inputs, Jaskaran. And Ujjwal sir, my question to you is now that every parent dreams a very prestigious college for their child. And it's I would say more than a dream for every parent to also accomplish what they could not. What is your take on it, that would you want your child to get into a prestigious college, get good marks, or you would also want your child to accommodate with what the world is demanding right now?
Well, if somebody would have asked me this question 25 years back, my answer would have been a simple yes. You get a good degree, you get a good job, and your future is secure. If I talk about today, even now, getting a degree, good marks is important. I think it gives the students knowledge, discipline, and also gives them credibility, and it opens the first door for them. Let me share something with you, an observation that, if you watch children playing, they would not only want somebody, who has good marks. In fact, that's not something that they would ask. They would want to play with somebody who is fun. They would want to play with somebody perhaps who can invent a new game or, make them laugh. Somebody who will be cognizant of the fact that there is a kid who's standing outside and get them in, say, come join us. I think somewhere along the line, we as parents become very concerned about marks and degrees. I think what is also important to keep the door open is are things like curiosity, kindness, empathy, ability to work with others, and most importantly, I think, is the ability, the confidence to learn when the world is changing, and it's changing so fast these days. So I think this is where an opportunity for us as parents that, yes, we support our kids to get their degrees, but we also support them to be someone that others trust, that others want to work with, that others want to learn from. See, in this new age, the AI age, knowing the answers, I think, is not as valuable as knowing how to ask the right question and also to be the right kind of a person, because AI is so good at kind of finding patterns in what we already know. So we need young people who have the original thought. The future job market is actually demanding people who are original thinkers, and also because the traditional jobs are also changing. When I was a kid, my parents would either want them to be a doctor or a engineer. There's so many different avenues which are opening up. So somebody who is imaginative, having that imagination is very, very important these days.
Thank you so much for such a wonderful answer. What I could gather is that it's not important of what the child knows. It's important to understand what the child can solve. Also, understanding that employability criteria and rubrics have changed. However, we as parents are still stuck on to the guarantee that traditional careers give us, but there has been a significant shift. And to gain deeper insights into it, Kavach sir, I would want to ask you that with a lot of initiatives coming up like skill stacking and pile of credentials, student portfolios, internship opportunities, entrepreneurial skills, design thinking, where is it that a child needs to find the right balance? Are degrees the traditional and conventional way of how we used to look at it still working, or is it a complete 360-degree revolve? Where is it that we all stakeholders needs to stabilize?
Great question. Actually, now what we need to understand is never an either or. Great indicator to understanding that you've walked the path, and it's just not answering one thing, it's solving for multiple things. Your networking ecosystem, being in touch with faculty who've done really well, who've done research, and at the same time having the time to look at various things with people who are also figuring it out. So degrees in that sense are important. However, one thing that was always discounted for was skills, because what parents or students would feel like skills will automatically come when you are working. That has changed now. Everything has become really fast, and that means careers have become fast tracked, and that means the skills that somebody would learn at a 25, 26, working in a company, being under someone, they need to look at it now, at when they're 15, when they're 16, when they're 17. So, an important thing for parents is to just provide the ecosystem for the students to experiment. If we don't take the risk and we are too scared of failure, we will never experiment, and hence we will not know what our skill is, and hence we will not be able to nurture it. Pattern recognition, again, simple thing. If we look at students in your school as well, you would see the ones who are very initiative oriented, would love to take initiative. Yes, ma'am, I'm there. They would eventually, if you map the careers out, they would somehow figure out their life far easier, better than anybody else, because they had the initiative skills. So I think the whole ecosystem now needs to revolve around and. The more ands that you have, skills, degrees, network, right negotiation skills, right communication and interpersonal skills become very, very important. We've always been very focused on employability, what skills employers need. We need to get a job, we need to have a straight path to success, and by 25 this and 28 that and by 30 that. I think that is, everyone's up for a treat there, because it's going to be completely changed. You might see a 12-year-old making a lot of money. You might see people having multiple careers in their life. Like, my first 10 years I did this, and the next 10 years I did that, and the next 10 years I did this, and we are going to see a lot of those things. And the only thing that all of us as ecosystem need to realize, just normalize failure. It's absolutely fine. You keep taking the risk. Money is there in the game as long as you're good at what you do. You just need to experiment. And like one last thing is, I think you have to find yourself, and school is, I think, the best playground for that, and those schools who are taking the initiative to allowing their students to give freedom to them, just let them explore, think out of the box, experiment with different things, they will do really, really well. Yes, profiles are important. I strongly believe degrees are also important, because degrees just fast track your path into being in the midst of people who are doing really well. Like, simple example, Harvard. Why would people want to go Harvard when anybody can copy Harvard's curriculum, get similar or same faculty? It's just for the ecosystem of being around right people, right faculty. And when you're around those breathing the same air of who are very hustle oriented, I think you get to see a lot, and that's what I think everybody is trying to do when they're trying to climb the ladder.
Wonderful. I think we all can summarize and we all can cumulatively understand from all of this is that let's not look at employability, let's not look at the set patterns of what has been conditioned and reinforced in societies. We have to look at something that suits us, and it's individual in nature. It's the uniqueness that has to be honed. We have to understand that we need certain things that can survive recessions, can survive algorithms, can survive trending inputs, and that is skills.
Absolutely.
So whereas DPS Dwarka Expressway focuses a lot on making sure that the child is always at the center of it, I think all stakeholders need to understand that our life has to revolve around the skills, the needs, and the concurring trends of education rather than of our own individual set patterns of how we've been seeing the world. Thank you so much to the entire panel and to all the guests who are viewing it.
At DPS Dwarka Expressway, every child arrives with their own way of learning, their own pace, their own way of seeing the world. And that's exactly how we treat them. Lessons are shaped around the child, not the other way around, with our teachers and well-being counselors working closely together so that every student feels supported, understood, and genuinely cared for, well beyond just academics. As students grow, we grow with them, helping them think about what comes next, understanding their strengths and picking up practical skills like managing money and thinking independently, so that by the time they step out into the world, they are genuinely ready for it. And through all of this, parents remain close partners in the journey, staying involved through regular conversations and shared moments, rather than being kept at a distance. There's also room here to simply enjoy being a kid, whether that means training on the football field or the basketball court, under professional coaches, finding their voice through music, dance, or theatre, or discovering a new interest altogether through one of the many clubs on campus. From robotics to public speaking to sustainability, somewhere in all of this, every child finds something that's just theirs. This is what makes DPS Dwarka Expressway different, a place that looks after the whole child, not just the student. And now, we are ready to welcome the next generation of learners. We are now launching admissions for the academic year 2027 to 2028. Visit DPS Dwarka Expressway and discover what makes learning here different.